With Morning Live on SABC2 and SABC News Channel 404. Now, more than 2,000 public schools will participate in the 5th Annual Schools Democracy Week program, which kickstarts today. The initiative started back in 2013 following the signing of a Memorandum of Agreement between the IEC and the Department of Basic Education. The aim of this initiative is to address the challenges of increasing youth participation in electoral democracy. Joining us for more on this is the Deputy Chair of the IEC, Tselane. Good morning to you and thank you so much for coming through.
Good morning and thank you very much for having me here.
Now, talk to us about the progress ever since the initiative started back in 2013. How have things been?
Well, since we started with the program, we have already reached close to 4,000 schools throughout the country. We started with this program about 5 years ago, and then we are satisfied that the level of participation by these schools has actually been very satisfactory, and we hope that we will continue with this program and reach out to all other schools that we are not able to reach at this stage.
But why are you not able to reach other schools?
Because it's dependent on few aspects. Firstly, it is an arrangement between ourselves as the Electoral Commission and the respective provincial departments of education as well as the school. So it is dependent on our capacity in terms of person power to be able to get enough personnel to be able to assist the schools to deal with this particular program or to coordinate this program.
All right. So now, as the IEC, you're happy with the progress in terms of participation. But do these young people have a clearer understanding of democracy?
Well, that's the main reason why we're actually participating in this program and why we actually established this program. We're trying to make sure that we instill the values of our democracy and our constitution early on in the lives of our students or our pupils, so that by the time they reach voting age, they understand the value of having to participate in democratic processes and also understand how matters are supposed to be dealt with. So we're trying to inculcate the spirit of understanding their responsibilities in the democratic society, but also for them to be able to participate in the electoral processes.
Yeah, but I would believe things look better for South Africa in terms of youth participation if we were to take a look at the numbers during the local government elections of the young people who took it upon themselves to go register and to go vote.
Absolutely. I think, the fact that we've got quite a number of other programs other than this one, where we're coordinating with the SRCs, we are coordinating with the universities. It is much more easier for us now to reach out to the youth, and it is easier for us then to ensure that they are able to participate in the process. But this program is one of the critical elements in terms of ensuring that we reach as many pupils as possible before they reach the voting age.
It certainly is in that, Tselane, but how much more still needs to be done to ensure that this beautiful initiative stays relevant?
There's a lot that we've got to do. Obviously, you've got to measure the success of our programs and all other institutions with society in terms of how people participate within the democratic order. And then also to be able to see as to whether the institutions that we have established to safeguard our democracy, are they strong enough, are they being utilized, are they able to achieve what they're able to achieve, what they've set themselves to achieve. So if we can be able to achieve this, I think, it is going to be very important then for us to say we have at least reached something that is important for our society. But we still have a long way to go. We've got to inculcate this spirit of understanding the Constitution, the responsibilities that as citizens and as individuals we have, and that is going to take time.
So how does it work? How does the Democracy Week program work? Do you have your IEC officials visiting the certain schools? How does it actually unfold?
Yeah, we've selected for this year more than 2,000 schools, and our officials will therefore be coordinating with those schools. They'll be going to those schools, engaging with pupils on democratic principles and values and issues. And then after that, there will also be a process for what we call mock elections. Remember, there are two issues that we're trying to inculcate here. The first one is obviously to inculcate the values of democracy, but secondly also to try to assist them in terms of understanding the electoral process and how the electoral processes operate. So there's going to be a mock election where they are taught how to deal with voting, so that by the time the elections come, it is much more easier for them to to understand and to be able to participate in the process.
All right, but how do you go about choosing the schools that will participate? Is it perhaps the prerogative of the provincial departments of education?
No, not really. It depends, as I've suggested to you, firstly on our capacity as the Electoral Commission in terms of the people we have. Do we have enough numbers on the ground that can be able to coordinate this particular program? But also, because we are going into the schools, we've got to coordinate with the respective principals of those schools to make sure that we do not interfere with the programs that they already have in the schools. But because there is an arrangement that we already have with the Department of Basic Education at the national level, it is much more easier for us then to coordinate this with the respective schools. So it depends on us, but at the same time it depends on the schools program, because we do not want to interfere with all other programs that the schools serve.
Yeah, and I do know that previously you handed out booklets that had all the information. Is it still going to be the case this year as well?
Absolutely. We've got the materials that we leave with the pupils and the schools, and it is the materials that we normally use for imparting this information, and the pupils as well as the schools can be able to reuse that information even after we have left the schools as the Electoral Commission.
This sounds quite interesting. Are you perhaps looking at incorporating it into the curriculum maybe in the future?
Definitely, we would love to have that. But as you may be aware, there are many competing interests within the society. Those who are in tourism, they want to have tourism included in the curriculum. Those who are in the film industry are saying
not everyone is interested in the electoral process.
So it's a balancing act that the Department of Basic Education has got to do. But we'd love to have that.
Let's leave it at that. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much for
Thank you very much indeed. That was Teritzelani, Deputy Chair at the IEC, talking to us about the 5th Annual Schools of Democracy Week program. It starts today at public schools across South Africa, like he was telling us earlier on, that they're looking at 2,000 schools for this year only. Let's take a break here on Morning Live. When we come back, ditaba tsa hora ya borobedi.